All right, let's do this. On today's episode of the CLS Experience, we have a very special treat. He embodies the spirit of entrepreneurship and is the iconic business builder, powerhouse, and founder of an abundance of companies. He's a partner at High Performance Institute and is a world-class speaker, New York Times bestselling author, and has been awarded the iconic Entrepreneur of the Year. He's a contributing author at Entrepreneur Magazine and is a passionate teacher, trainer, coach, and facilitator. He's made a gigantic impact on this planet by turning high potential into high performance. He's just an overall juggernaut in all facets of life and a phenomenal husband and father. Please welcome the extraordinary, brilliant, and innovative Randy Garn. How you doing, Randy?
Bro, I am doing good, Craig. Dude, I love it. Every time somebody shares my bio, I'm just like, I've done quite a bit of few things, but dude, I'm just a good old farm boy from Idaho that learns how to work hard. That's about it, bro.
Yeah, I know that's where you started, but your resume so far is extraordinary, brother. And you know what the best part about you is? You're just getting warmed up.
That's right. This is honestly, I feel like I am in the prime of my life. Both the experience that I've had, now I can turn it into real, the experiences turn into knowledge, knowledge turns into action. And bro, it's game time. Let's do this.
Yeah, hell yeah. It is showtime. And we're going to dive in just a second. But one of the things that I really respect and admire about you, besides a plethora of things, is I heard you say one time, and it just embodies who you are, is you don't want to be the artist. You want to be the record label. You want to help facilitate people's breakthroughs. And I just love that about you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think for me too, Craig, it's like one of our family sayings is me lift thee and you lift me and we'll ascend together. And I really feel like the more people that I can help get what they need and what they want and be a humongous cheerleader for them and help support them, that brings the most joy in my life. Not so much, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's like, look at my friends and how awesome they are. That's what I love. That's my business model. I'm the record label, not the artist.
I love this. This is gripping, and I'm the same way. But I'll be honest with you. I'll always be vulnerable and transparent. I wasn't always like that. There was a time in my life when I was a bit younger, more immature, and I did seek validation, the shiny new watch or the car, the clothes. But now I agree 100%. I get validation by contributing, by making an impact in someone's life and them saying, hey, Craig, I saw that content or that coaching session really changed my perspective and I was able to facilitate a breakthrough. I'm wondering, were you always like this or was it a little bit of an evolution also?
I think that you learn, you grow, you fail, you grow, you meet new people that come into your life, you grow, you go through experiences. And so I think it's always a continual evolution. But I think at the core of myself, I have always learned, my dad always taught me that people are more important than things. And so I'm not I'm actually way more on experience. I'm way more on experiences than I am collecting a whole bunch of assets and stuff I have to worry about. So I'm actually way more focused on the human development and human progress than I am with like accumulating a bunch of toys or cars or all of that. I literally am pretty simple, but it's all about impact for me. And so that's kind of been my whole core, my whole life, even since I was like 13, 14 years of age, is like, how can I change people's lives for the better?
Yeah. And that's one of the many reasons why you're so good at it, because you legitimately love this stuff. And it took me a bit longer to find myself. I was on Wall Street. Now I'm doing this, but I've never felt more aligned in my entire life. Like, this isn't work to me. Like, having this conversation with you, the only negative I got going on is we don't get to do this for 10 hours, but I love this stuff. And it's so obvious just by your smile and your aura that you genuinely love this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I think from my, growing up in my early years, my dad was a high school football coach for 32 years. And, he actually ran us like that. So we had a cattle ranch, we were ranchers, and then he was a high school football coach. So it was, we would wake up early, slop the hogs, wake the chickens, and get out there and work early in the morning. And then, we'd say family prayers, we'd put it in and say, go Garns, after we do those things. And he was really, really an amazing role model for me. And I know not everybody has amazing fathers as role models. And that's okay. It's like who you become. But I was just blessed with an amazing father that while we would drive out to the ranch, we were listening to Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, all of the greats, Earl Nightingale, when I was at a young age. And he was just implanting that in our heads that we can do more, we can be more. Those things are ingrained into me from when I was a young child. And so I remember thinking to myself when I was like 14 years of age, is like, this is what I want to do. I want to help people. I want to be the coach's coach and help people be the best humans they possibly can be. And whether that's in business or life, I'm really a business life strategist.
Yeah, the coach's coach, beautifully said. And I want to give your, family some acknowledgement. I didn't have that growing up. I come from a very close family. My parents are still alive. They just celebrated their 48th wedding anniversary, which is bucking trends these days. But it wasn't instilled in me from an early age, like the personal development stuff. I kind of found that a little bit later, but it's a game changer. So the fact that you were involved with that from such an early age, it's no surprise as to the success that you've achieved. And obviously you're just getting started, but for anyone listening, for the audience, like it's so important. Like that's this type of stuff that you need to be hearing as early as possible. I imagine you do the same with your kids.
Yeah. Well, I do. I mean, I have 6 kids. I've got 2 sets of twins, bro. So it's like herding cats at my house. But I really, I want to be really clear on this. It's like, I am so incredibly careful what I watch, what I do, who I hang around. I've really leveled up the humans that I spend my time with. Because it's like whatever we see, it's like monkey see, monkey do, right? So if you're watching a bunch of stuff on social media that's not the best, whether it be, uplifting or moral or whatever that may be, it's going to go into your brain. And so what I want to do is ensure that every single day I am just uploading stuff into this amazing tool, my mind, that I am so strong that nothing can ever disturb my peace of mind. That I talk health and happiness and prosperity to everybody that I meet. And, that is like so important to me right now, is there's just so much craziness out there in the world and so much, hate and anger and all that. And it really is unnecessary around with the people that you live with and you work with. And so that's one of the things that we got to work on as a society, is like what we watch, what we see, what we do, we become. And I think that's so important for people to really, really understand.
I couldn't agree more, brother. And like, you want to be around the people that feed your soul and kind of detach from the people that bleed you. And it's so true. And like, I'm so sensitive to this stuff because I agree with you 100%. I almost take it to another level. Like, if someone even like starts to become negative in a conversation, I kind of check them right there. I'm like, whoa, none of that right now. I'm in a bubble of serenity. And it's like, even when I saw you today before we went on air, I just like, how you doing? You're just like, everything is amazing, brother. And you're like, it's not like, this is legitimately who you are, because you surround yourself in that bubble of serenity, of positivity and good stuff. And I think for the audience listening, like there's a lot of stuff on the news these days that's not exactly positive. The more you watch that stuff, whether it be content on social media or whatever, it goes into your brain. So be very intentional with what you feed your brain.
You have to be like you, Craig, you have to be. And like, even people listening to your podcast, like everything that you do is helping people to be uplifted and to really be their best selves. And just think of the people that, I'm probably one of the reasons why you do your podcast is that you feel like you're getting just as much as everybody else. And every single day you get to have amazing people. Just you learn from that and you absorb that and you become better. You start to change, more opportunities come. And so I think that's so important for everyone to think about. It's like, dude, you gotta unlike anything in your life that may be causing, you to have stress, anxiety, greed or whatever that may be. You got to unplug that stuff quick and fast and start filling it with all of the great things that are actually going on.
I couldn't agree more, brother. This is great. I couldn't be more aligned if we wanted to be. I have to ask you before we dive in, is it true you're very big into Ironmans?
I'm into Ironmans, but it's a Christmas miracle that I am an Ironman. I did the Kona half Ironman a few years ago. And I did that because I'm partners with Brendan Burchard on High Performance Institute.
I know you are.
And one of the key habits is to raise necessity, right? And so a few years ago at this time, I seen at lunch with a group of CEOs, and they were all going to do the Kona half Ironman. And it had always been my goal to do that before I turned 50. And they said, hey, we're all doing it. Garn, you got to do that. And I'm like, well, I only have like 8 weeks to prepare, and they're like, dude, you're Randy Garn, you got this. So I'm like, dude, I got this, let's go. So I signed up, and honestly, with the shortness of time that I prepared, it literally helped me just mentally understand that I can accomplish hard things. And so physically, that was awesome. But I try to do a triathlon every year. I try to, do something every year so that I stay in really good physical shape and get my heart in the right place and my mind in the right place. And it was a group of guys, right? It was a group of CEOs that have done a ton of Ironmans. And they're like, dude, Randy, we'll coach you through this. We'll walk you through this. And my buddy, James Lawrence, he's the Iron Cowboy. If you look up Iron Cowboy,
I know he is.
Coach. He's like, dude, here's my bike. Here's the stuff you need. Let's get your nutrition set. So I brought in the world's best to help me with that. And again, it's like, what are you doing this year that is super hard? What are you doing this year that's pushing you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically? Like, that's one of the habits of high performers, is they love to raise necessity, which raising necessity is higher than just setting a goal. It's like, come what may, I am accomplishing this. So like, whatever it was July 26th, I'm in Kona, they shoot the gun, I'm in the ocean swimming, right? There's nothing I can do about it other than freaking get it done or give up.
Yeah. Which is not an option for a guy like you.
No. Oh, no way. No, not with my buddies being there too and everybody cheering me on.
Yeah.
I mean, and my wife, dude, she came and rescued me at the end. She like ran out and grabbed me. And like, it's just like, but through that experience, it's just like, I never would have done that if I wouldn't surround myself with great people. Yeah. I never would have. So it's like, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are the people that are in your sphere of influence, or the top 5 people you surround yourself with, pushing you to be better, telling you when you need to change, being real true friends, like calling you on your BS? So that's one of the things that I want to challenge everybody that may be listening to this today. Pick something super hard to do this coming year, and set that goal and crush it. Whether that's a financial goal, a physical goal, an emotional goal, a spiritual goal, or all 4 of those, set a goal that's going to push you to greatness.
That's it. That's where I would drop the mic, but I want to continue the conversation. And for the audience listening, like 2022 is now. It's not New Year's Eve. It's not January 1st. Like what Randy's saying, like find a challenge and push yourself. And that kind of activates like the power of intention or the law of attraction, because you can't hit a target you can't see. And it's funny, Randy, because I recently got into marathons a few years back, and I'd never been a runner. It was uncomfortable for me, but now I love these things. I just ran New York a few weeks back.
Bro.
Thank you, brother. But what I love about it is exactly how you just articulated it. I love to sign up for it, because then in my head, I'm like, oh shit, now it's on. So now we have to take proper habits and behaviors, eating right, focusing, getting to bed earlier, training, whatever the case may be. It's just good for you, straight up. And for the audience listening, it doesn't have to be physical, although I think that's pretty cool if you challenge yourself. Financial, spiritual, whatever the case may be, put a challenge out there for yourself and then work towards it. Beautifully said, Randy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you think about it. I mean, I really try to keep things in perspective. And one of the things that is just a miracle is life itself is a miracle. I mean, you think about it, we are floating on a rock in the middle of space right now. Like, our world is just a little round sphere, if you believe it's round or flat or whatever. We're literally just floating in the middle of nowhere right now. And how is that? And so it's just like, we only have a short allotment of time on this earth. It's like, what are you going to accomplish? What are you going to do? And so I really love, one of my favorite quotes from Harvey McKay is that time is free, but it's priceless. You know, you can't own it. You can't own time, but you can use it, right? You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you'll never get it back. So unless you're setting those hard goals and accomplishing great things, it's just going to be a whole bunch of yesterdays that never came. So as we kick off this year, is like, what are you going to accomplish this year? And one of my simple tools, Craig, that I love to do is I love to set intentions and I journal every night. And this is from my man, Brendan Bouchard. We've got a really awesome app out called, growthday.com. And it actually prompts you to journal every night, every day, set achievements, set milestones. And so are you setting those milestones? But for me, one of the things that really changed my life about 13 years ago was when I'd met Brendan and we work with Ethan, and we really, like, what are the 6 habits of highly productive people? And a big one of those that I want you to really nail this year is to seek clarity is the number 1 habit of high performers. And I just try to set intention every day for what I'm accomplishing from when I wake up to where I lay my head at night. And the best thing that I can do is to journal in the evening time. I get all the acid out of my stomach. I write down exactly what I'm going to do. I review the day before. And I always ask myself, how did I see the hand of God in my life today? And the second thing I ask myself is, who are 3 to 5 people's lives that I need to bless tomorrow? And those 2 things, along with this last one, is what are the 5 immovable things that I must get done today? And I've just done that. And that has changed. Just those 3 questions has changed everything for me.
Yeah. This is straight riveting, brother. And it's funny because I always start the podcast a different way and we start a little bit of background, but like time is priceless, right? I want to make the most of this. And I think this conversation is unbelievable. And this is what the audience is going to get the most out of. You mentioned faith. I have to ask you because I've had some of the world's most successful people on here. And I love to just hear your take. Like, how important is your faith to you? And when did it become so important in your life?
When are you talking about me, my faith, my belief, so for me, it probably became the most apparent when I was about 13, 14 years of age. And, I've been so fortunate. I had a father and a mother that had great, deep faith in God. And for me, but we have to figure out those journeys on our own. For me, it was, I'd actually a few times in my life, we were out at the ranch, and I'll tell you a really, really personal story is that
Please.
I had a beautiful, beautiful dog, and this dog was just so awesome. It was the best. His name was Tigger, and we did everything together. It was like, from when I was like 6 years old, this was my buddy. So for 6 years, I had this amazing dog, slept with me, did everything with me. It's just like, it was my buddy, dude. I mean, I am actually super, super loyal when I find great people. But I remember one day that we got a flat tire, we pull off the side of the road on the freeway, and Tigger jumped out on the car, and she loved to chase cars. Anyway, she chased a car that was going like 75 miles down the freeway. And she just chased it and then spun around on the freeway, and another car just came and hit my dog. And I remember thinking then, just at that young age, is just like how precious life was. And it was a split second. My dog was gone. And I remember my dad, I was just heartbroken, so heartbroken. And I remember my dad just taking me and explaining to me that there's a lot more than just this earthly life, and that even our friends, even our families, one of the things that I truly believe, and I've lost some really, really close friends this year. And what's crazy, Craig, is that I know a lot of people with COVID and everything else, is that a lot of people have hurt this year, and I've lost some really, really close friends to that. But one of my great beliefs was, it came to me when my dad sharing me with this, is that he said, this life is just a test. and of what we're going to truly become. And that one of my big beliefs is that I'm going to live with my family again for all eternity, depending on how we treat each other here. And so I always think about that. I think about just how precious life is. And I remember just being overcome with like just a calmness that it's all going to work out, and that there's something bigger than just our short allotted time here. And so that's why I'm just very intentional with my time. And then the other thing is that like when I was training for the Ironman, I got ran over by a car.
I know the story.
Yeah, I got ran over, and I didn't have one thing wrong with me. Yeah, it drugged me for 10 feet. I got crushed. It crushed my bike, ran over my hips and my chest. And this is a Toyota CJ7. And I remember thinking to myself, dude, while I'm getting run over, I'm like, dude, if I don't die, my wife's going to kill me when I get home. It's just like, so for me, I was like completely protected. And there's been times where I have actually felt like angels have been around me and watching over me. And so I just have an acute sense of that there's more than just this life for us. I believe that, this is a temporary state, that our spirits and who we are inside are actually eternal. And that's just one of the things that I believe. And I really, really believe that with everything. And so that's why everybody I meet and everybody that I see and everybody that I treat, I try to see the divinity in them. And if we do have divinity in us, and if there is a grand design for us, then there's got to be a designer that has created us. And so that's why one of the things I truly believe is that whether you're the CEO of a $1 billion company or an Uber driver, we're all freaking just brothers. We're all sisters. We're all created by one God and one creator. And we better freaking be nice to each other. And that's why we're here on this earth, is to see how we'll actually treat each other. Do we love God, and do we love our neighbor? Period. It's really that simple. And we try to overcomplexify it. So I just try to be kind and nice to everybody I meet. That's it.
Yeah, this is just straight up unbelievable, brother. And thank you for being so vulnerable and really pulling back the lid, because I know that was a personal story. And also because I know how important time is for you. Thank you for your quality time today. In regards to what you were saying about your spirit and so forth. And this is something that I recently discovered, but it seems like you're on the same page, that we're actually a soul and a spirit having a human experience. Is that right?
Dude, I really believe we're spiritual beings having an earthly experience.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I both believe, and I know that to be the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. This is awesome. Again, I wish I could talk to you all day. There's so much synergy here and so much alignment, which is great for so many reasons. And I can't wait to see you next month in person. I want to talk to you for a second about leadership, because you're the definition of a leader, in my personal opinion. But the coolest part about you, to me, and I think the audience is going to find so fascinating, we just hit 1 million downloads, is that you don't want any of the credit, Randy. And we talked earlier about validation and so forth. But the truth of the matter is, you legitimately just want to see and facilitate everybody else winning. And I'm just wondering, like, what makes like someone so selfless and so abundant to get to that point? Like, where does that come from?
Well, if you really learn to live a true law, which is the law of reciprocity, is that if you help more people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And so I have literally it's really that law of reciprocity. And one of the things my dad always taught me and shared with me is like, do as much as you can for as many people as you can, as often as you can, and expect nothing in return. Again, do as much as you can, as often as you can, without expecting anything in return. And watch what the world will do for you. And so one of the things that I have tried to do and to do well is master the art of helping serve before I sell, and master the art of building relationships with people that can impact each other's lives. And so some of that is like, somebody may need some capital. We've got a private equity group. Some people may need marketing. We've got a whole marketing division and a whole marketing team. Just making those introductions for people and expecting nothing in return has been the biggest thing that has helped me. So, I mean, the thing that's great about that is that I have more opportunity than I know what to do with. And plus it brings me joy when I see my friends have massive success together. And so that is one of the things that I've really tried to just master in my life is to, the people that you spend time with are going to make or break your dreams 100%. But the friends that you refer each other to and help build each other to and help lift each other up on, I mean, that is where the true joy comes from, is seeing others succeed because you're able to help support them. And when it stops becoming about you and it becomes about them, I mean, a lot of people talk about self-care and self-love. Yes, I believe in that. But I think there's a higher law is where you're actually helping each other more.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy in life. And it's done me well, and it continues to do me well, and it continues to drive great joy in my life.
And it comes back like a boomerang, right? Like the more good you do for other people and the more tables you set, as I know you like to say, more opportunity comes back to you than you even know what to do with. So that's just straight up beautiful. I got to be honest with you, I'm a fan. So I do my homework. Well, preparation breeds confidence. I do my homework anyway. But I saw some things about you that I thought were pretty cool. Is it true that you love handwritten notes?
Bro, I yeah.
For the audience, his face just lit up like a Christmas tree. For the audience, they can't see.
So I've tried, one of my big mentors in life is Harvey McKay. He's wrote Swim with the Sharks back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, he is such a great dude, and he's just such a great human. And I've tried to implement this over the years is I have tried to write at least 5 or more handwritten notes every day of people that I've met with or somebody that comes to mind. I also buy a ton of books for my friends. Like I just sent out a ton of Jay Shetty's book to my friends. I bought, 300 books from Mel Robbins' High 5 Habits and shot those out. I got the high performance habit that I got a ton of, and I'm just always, doing that just to let people know that I think about them, that I love them. It's like little things don't mean a lot. Little things mean everything. And never be boring, never be predictable. That way you'll always be memorable. And so unless you do those little things, then people are going to forget about you. You're not going to be top of mind. So what are the things that you can do that make an impact, that drive value, and make you memorable? If nobody knows who you are, it's not going to do you any good.
Correct. Yeah, it's so true. And it's like I always tell like a lot of my clients or the people in my membership, like you can have the best product, the best program, the best things to say, but if there's no eyeballs on you, then it goes for nothing. So build that community. But I was taking a note as you was speaking, because I just wanted to write it down. It may or may not be the name of the episode. Little things mean everything. And it's so true. Like go the extra mile. Like it's the smallest things that really make the biggest impact on people, and it leaves them with a feeling.
Yeah. Well, I love the scripture, dude. It's like, when God asks you to go a mile, go twain, right? Go twice. All of the blessings are in the second mile, bro. It's always that extra 1%. It's that little extra push. That's what high performance is all about. It's that little extra nugget of goodness, that little, like even here, like, Craig, I didn't need to be on the podcast, but I want to give back. So it's like, whose life am I going to change today just by being here and sharing some of the things that I know? So it's like little things don't mean a lot. Little things mean everything when it comes to business, when it comes to the relationship with your wife, when it comes to the relationship with your kids, when it comes to the relationship with yourself. What are those little things that you need to start doing that are going to make a massive leverageable impact in your life and others?
Yeah. And specifically for everyone going into the new year now, non-negotiables, right? What are those little things that are non-negotiables that stack good habits, like that'll really set you up and propel you? And so many of the nuggets that we're having in this conversation right now, specifically from you, are going to cause a huge ripple effect with the audience. So I know that for certain. I have to ask you, what are your thoughts and how do you articulate the quantum and the law of attraction and all this stuff? Because I'll be honest with you, I was a little skeptical for a little while because it was beyond my senses. I was always a mindset guy. But when I was training for my last marathon, make a long story short, they found a tumor in my foot. I got it taken out, surgery. and I was training for the marathon, but I didn't have the physical aspect, as you know, you might need for an Ironman. So that's when I said, if I'm ever going to buy in, this is the opportunity. And boy, did I buy in. Ended up running the marathon fastest that I ever ran without physical training. And just, I can't talk about this stuff enough, like frequencies and vibrations and all this stuff. But I'm a little bit, I find it challenging to kind of articulate how it works for me. All I know is, for the first time in my life, I'm literally seeing real-time manifestations. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are on all this stuff.
Dude, I honestly, and I actually think that the law of attraction is it's multidimensional. I think the law of attraction is great. I think it's a piece of it. The law of attraction only works as far as like seeking clarity and finding out what you want. But then you and I both know that marathon ain't going to run itself, and our legs aren't going to do itself. And that Ironman I did is not going to, if I don't put the effort and energy into it, it is freaking not going to happen. So I believe massively in the law of attraction. And I also believe in the law of the harvest. Huge. And there's too many people that don't understand the law of the harvest. Is you get in what you put into it. Like I'm talking about your mind. This is my most valuable asset right here between my 2 ears. What peace do I have? What peace of mind do I have? And how strong is my freaking mind? How strong is my willpower? I went fly fishing last week. Well, actually, it was a few days ago with Martin Fry. He is the only person to climb all 7 peaks and sell all seven seas. And he is the only guy I know that has survived a polar bear attack and lived to tell about it. He lost his friend. I mean, he was up 51 days on the mountain with a friend that was freezing to death, and he ended up getting him down. So it's just like, dude, I'm like, how did you mentally prepare that? And so I think the law of attraction is also this. It's like, it's not the size of the problem that matters, it's the size of the person. On the flip side, it's like we all have a certain energy about us. Like we really do have a certain energy about us that will attract others. And so I really do think like we glow. Like Craig, like you have such a great, powerful presence about you. We've never met in person, but I know that you like do great things. And I can just feel it. I can feel your energy and I can feel your vibe. And you light up the room. As soon as we got on, I was like, dude, I'm going to love this guy. And so it's like, are we the type of person that other people like to be around? Do we lift and build each other up? Do we seek to destroy others and talk bad about others? I never gossip and I never say bad things about anybody because it does no good, right? And so when it comes to the law of attraction, we attract who we are and what we're becoming.
Yeah, this is just terrific. And I appreciate the compliments and the beautiful words. I'm going to go ahead and receive those. And I felt the same about you. I knew of you and I'm a fan, but just speaking to you and the aura and the positive energy, I knew also in 2 seconds we were going to hit it off. You talk a lot, Randy, about playing the long game. And I think this is something a lot of people need to hear, specifically entrepreneurs. People want instant gratification or they want success immediately. But talk about the significance of the mentality of playing the long game.
Well, I think that, we need to understand that the long game is really understanding the abundance mentality and being genuinely happy for the success of others. Your pie will get bigger. But for me, the long game is ensuring that you're very clear on what you want to accomplish. And then getting so clear on that you say no to everything else. And too many people try to do too much and don't get really, really good at those certain things that are going to make the biggest impact in their life. And like, why was I created and what am I assigned to do here while I'm on this earth? And so the long game for me is really understanding like what it is that I want to accomplish here. Like I'm a New York Times bestselling author. And I'm still, it's the long game is the most important thing on the long game is what is your reputation? The long game is not who you know, it's who knows you and what they think about you and what they say about you when you're not in the room. The long game is the amount of people, when I leave this earth and I get on the other side of heaven, and there's a whole bunch of people that came up to me and say, dude, you changed my life. You blessed my life. You made a difference. You made an impact. For me, that's the eternal long game. And it's just not about this worldly experience we're having. It's about how many lives can I truly impact for eternity? And that's my long game, bro, right there.
Yeah. Bang. I'm laughing because I just love you, buddy. And we just met, but you speak it to my soul, and everything that you say, it just resonates. And for the audience, run this back, grab a journal, grab a pen, and take some serious notes. There's just unbelievable, tangible tools that you can start to apply immediately. Another quote that I heard you say that really stuck out to me, and I wanted to bring it up today, is don't just scuba dive, or don't just snorkel, scuba dive. And I wanted to reiterate what he means by that is, if you find something you love, or when you find something you love, don't tiptoe around it, go all in. Am I right?
Yeah, no, exactly. We can't dip our toe in the water and exclaim that we went swimming. You can't, even with like relationships. It's like too many times we're just so surfacey with people, and we don't allow people to really get to know us. And there's a level of authenticity. And yes, you need to be careful with what you share with some people, because not everybody in your life, whether we like it or not, has your best interest in heart.
True.
But those people that do, and those cherished friends that are real, learn to snorkel with them in your life. Learn to go deep with them. Learn to have trust. Learn to help support each other through the good times and the bad times. You really understand who you can snorkel with when you're having a bad time, or you go through hard things, and those people show up for you. You also learn a lot when you're having massive success. And here's what you need to pay attention to, is when my friends have massive success, I love to cheer them on. I love it more than anything when my friends are having success. And I think that you need to look at that as like, who are the top 25 people in your life? And do you have a list of them? I mean, I could show you my favorites list on my phone. Like, I have only 25 people in my favorites, and that's it right there, And that is who I scuba dive with. That's who I go deep with. That's who I am experiencing life with. That is my tight circle of friends. And I will tell you is that too many times we have a business strategy and we don't have a people strategy, when the most important thing we should have is a people strategy. And I had a really good mentor of mine say, Randy, who are the top 25 people that you don't know that you want to do business with, that you love, like, and respect? And I thought about that. And he's like, I'm going to commit you the next 6 months to go meet every single one of them and go build a relationship with them. So I want to tell everybody on here is, like, find those people that you want to go deep with in life and really scuba dive with and make an impact with. And don't think that you can't sit at the table with them. Go learn how to drive value for them. Go make a difference for them, and find out who your top core army freaking band of brothers, sisters are that you're going to experience this life with. You'll actually drive more fans and more people. But it's like, who are those people that you're not just going to snorkel with, but you're going to really scuba dive with? That has been a massive impact for me in my life.
Yeah, beautifully said. And what he's saying is the exact reason why him and I are having this conversation right now, because I've been a fan of Randy's for quite some time, and I wanted to go scuba diving with him. And I was relentless in my pursuit, and here we are. And if my intuition serves me right, it's just the beginning of the friendship. So beautifully said. And for the audience, like, don't think big. There's no one outside your reach. There's nothing outside your reach. And if there's people that you admire or that you hold in high regard, they're obtainable, they're reachable, and do whatever it takes to make their acquaintance and try to form a relationship. And chances are you will. It's so true. People, they get scared, or maybe they don't feel worthy enough to sit at the table with some of these people, but it's just a limiting belief. This is unbelievable. Randy, you do so many things and like legitimately more than anyone I've ever come across. You wear so many different hats. You've had so many different chapters, so many different seasons. How would you describe all the things that you're doing?
I think the most important thing in life is to also have a good core group of people. You can't do everything on your own. Like we have amazing people that work with us, both on, with Brendan in the high performance side, on our private equity side, on our VC side. We just have just surround yourself. The only way that you can do a lot is to engage amazing humans around you. The worst thing that high performers hate low performers. And so ensure that you really, really take care of your core group of people around you. And I love the quote by Margaret Mead. She says, "Never doubt that a small group of dedicated individuals will change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And so you have to think about, I have an amazing, basically, amazing administrative assistant that helps me manage all of my relationships. She's amazing at it. And then our other people, like our other service providers and other things, is like, you have to surround your people that can actually walk the walk and talk the talk, but make sure that you have great support group around you and you'll do great things, man. It's so important. Again, it comes back to that people strategy. How do you treat others? And who's your team? So.
Yeah. And I know you're the guy behind the guy. Not maybe some people aren't familiar with you, but for the audience listening, like he's the coach's coach, as he said, or as I like to say, because I love the word juggernaut, he's the jug's jug. For all the juggernauts that you probably follow, for all the juggernauts that everyone probably follows, like on Instagram, like Randy's the guy that they turn to for counsel. And it's just the reality. So I want to acknowledge you for that, brother. We'll land the plane with this one. This one I heard you say also, but I don't 100% understand it. And I'm looking to hear what you mean by it. You said, if you're overwhelmed, then you're under delivering.
Yeah. If you are overwhelmed, then you are under delivering. You have to make sure that you're focused on you do have to make sure that if you don't have time for the big things, the little things aren't going to matter anyways. So ensure, that's why I love to journal at night. Am I focused on the big things that make the most impact? And how do I delegate everything else? You got to eliminate, delegate, and automate. Eliminate, delegate, and automate things in your life. And that's how you can make the most impact. So again, you have to personally figure out what are the most impactful big stones that you can do. What's the difference between a $4 million company, a $40 million company, and a $4 billion company? It's because that person is actually focusing on the things that matter most, period.
Yeah. Bang. You really are the best, but this is awesome. For the audience watching, what's the best way for everyone to support you? What's something really exciting that you have going on now?
We're actually this next year, we're launching probably one of the greatest personal development apps of all time, growthday.com. So I'd go check it out. We've got we're launching some really, really cool things, but that alone, it's the world's #1 high performance app. It's a #1 performance, personal development app as well. Tons of great learning, tons of great studies. That's what you should fill your mind with. And so that would be tremendous. We'd love to do that. And I'll send you a link and everything that people could utilize, and we can shoot it out with everybody. It would be awesome. But yeah, go to growthday.com and it's just a tremendous, tremendous resource.
Yeah. And the CLS audience is very loyal, engaging. They're very supportive. So guys, if you value what I have to say and who I collaborate with, go check out what Randy has going on, specifically the app immediately. Everything that he has going on is awesome. It's productive. And he's just a great guy, straight up, Randy. I have to ask you, man, how can I personally support you?
Come out. Let's scuba dive together, man. I'd love to spend some time with you. Let's do some fun things together. Let's experience life together. That's what I love more than anything. I love to collect friends as I go through life. Just amazing, amazing people. So let's get to know each other. And the best way you could the best way you could support me is let me actually send some more people to you for your podcast. That would be the greatest thing ever.
Done. And to be honest with you, like I ask a lot of the juggernauts that I cover with the same question, straight up, my favorite answer yet, because I want to do life with you. and I want to spend some time with you. For the audience listening, if you absolutely love the episode, all we ask is take a screenshot of it, tag Randy and I, and share it. Randy, I just got to tell you, you're the definition of resilience, grit, heart, drive, and entrepreneurship. You're making the world a better place and impacting billions by teaching leaders and companies worldwide how to maximize productivity and performance. Your mindset is absolutely bulletproof, and your faith is on a whole other level. You're an unbelievable husband and father, and a role model and beacon of hope for anyone coming up to their big goals and aspirations. I could personally guarantee your best is yet to come. Keep on spreading your wings. So much love and respect for you. And thank you so much for stopping by and dropping those nuggets and all these gems today, brother. I appreciate it.
You're the man. Man, appreciate it, Craig. Love what you do, bro. Love the goodness you're sharing in the world.
Too much fun. That was awesome, Randy.
Well, you're great, man.